Hello Malaysians, I'm posting this video clip in response to a report by Miss Ramakrishna or something like that, I forget her name, relating to the issue of the teaching of English. Well, as usual, Najib is one of those, and as a matter of fact, more the rule than the exception. Najib is one of those UMNO Malays who voice slogans. They've been doing this for 55 years. Slogans, slogans, slogans. Super multimedia, super corridor. Malaysia, developed nation by 2020. All these fanciful slogans that has no meaning in content. They never thought it up. There was no program, no definite course of action to achieve what they call 2020 or English by the year 2015 or something like that. It's also very, high schoolish. The UMNO government is so high schoolish. Why I say Najib is merely voicing a slogan, I mean with his clenched fist, big stomach sticking out. I see so many of these on the television. Najib, the very picture of obesity, clench fish French style and say Merdeka, Merdeka, or what shit that is. Anyway, I'm coming back to the issue of the teaching of English. Well, Malaysia, you have had your fun enjoying all the kudos of an independent nation that snubs all the response from other nations in the world. You, Malaysia, the greatest nation on earth, doesn't need the help, doesn't need the cooperation, doesn't need the rapport of the rest of the world. So you decided that Bahasa Malaysia was the language for Malaysia. And you haven't thought that, as I said, another one of those slogans again with nothing behind it. For 55 years, you have sought to decrease the use of English language, and yet on the international arena you tout Malaysia as an English-speaking country. It is not. It's a Bahasa-speaking country. Now, on the issue of Najib's claim that English can be again a second language, the most important second language in Malaysia, that's again a lot of hogwash and nonsense. Because to teach a language, you need teachers who are fluent in the language, who are native speakers of the language, or at least as good as native speakers of the language. For 55 years, English was not taught in the national medium school. Rather national school, whatever you call it. I'm not very familiar with the education system now, nor was I ever, because I was really not very interested in Malaysia. I'm one of those, you can say, traitors to Malaysia, maybe, but who cares? Who cares? Anyway, you need a crop of good teachers who know English as a language that you can think in. You see, you think in the language English, or you think in the language Bahasa, and are you fluent, are you proficient, depends on what language your mind thinks in. You see, all these teachers in Malaysia now are Malay teachers. There are not many non-Malay teachers. You have already monopolized the teaching profession. Well, good luck to you for all the shit that you create. Anyway, you don't have the teachers to teach English. You don't need 1,000 points why English cannot be improved at the snap of a finger, because you don't have the facility to teach English. You don't have the teachers. The Malay teachers, they don't think in English. They don't speak English. So, there you are. I say this to my Malaysian brothers and sisters, especially to the Chinese. Don't hope for English to be an important second language. It won't be. It cannot be achieved. It's an impossibility. For you, my dear Malaysian brothers and sisters of my race, you need to send your children abroad to become educated, because education means you are able to read on any subject, and you can't read on any subject through the use of Bahasa Melayu, because there are no experts, there are no people who are conversant, who are masters in the field of learning to produce books in Bahasa. Therefore, you are blind. You are not able to read the books written in English, in Chinese, in Japanese, in Russian, in French, in German. These are the main language of learning. These are the main languages of knowledge. So you cannot acquire knowledge using Bahasa. It's a dead loss case. Forget about what Najib says. It cannot be achieved. But you can make a beginning. You can begin by electing Pakatan, because now they realize, even UMNO realize now, that English needs to be a very important language of learning in Malaysia. But UMNO will not do it. UMNO will yell slogans with no plans to do it. They may want to do it, but they don't know how to do it. For 55 years, they didn't know what to do. So what do you think they're going to be able to do now? I suggest to my brothers and sisters, especially my Chinese brothers and sisters, vote Pakatan. Bring in a Pakatan government so that English can be reintroduced into Malaysia as a major language. Without English, it's wishful thinking to say that you can achieve a developed Malaysia by 2020. Is totally out of the question. Even with English, it's not possible to achieve developed status by 2020. Maybe 2300 maybe. Forget about becoming a developed nation. Well, anyway, I have only one issue because it's so important. I will only speak on this one issue in response to Ms. Ramakrishna's video. Thank you very much. I'll speak to you again. Goodbye.